Bernie Sanders is now drawing bigger crowds in Iowa than any other presidential prospect of either party. In a story chronicling the Hawkeye State's outbreak of Bernie mania, the New York Times says that Thursday in Davenport, a whopping 750 people showed up to hear Sanders speak. Compare that to around 50 people who turned out in the same town for Martin O'Malley there on Saturday, the day O'Malley announced his presidential campaign. But that's not the only big crowd Sanders has drawn. Others in Iowa turning out for him, and his rise is reflected in our new Bloomberg Politics Des Moines Register poll that shows Hillary Clinton is still dominating the field. She's at 57% of the vote among likely Iowa Democratic caucus goers. But look at Bernie Sanders' rise. He's gone from 16%, or from 5% in the last poll in January, 16%, tripling his support over the course of that time when he did announce for president. O'Malley clocking in at just 2%, although our survey was completed just as O'Malley was formally entering the race. Look at Bernie Sanders' number, though, 16%. That is a huge jump up. He is now being touted, John, by many people as the threat to Hillary Clinton. My question to you is, can Martin O'Malley in Iowa nationally become the Clinton alternative, or is it Sanders now?
I was hoping that you were going to ask the question, is there anything that can stop Bernie Sanders from being our next president of the United States? Look, I think that Martin O'Malley is a more conventionally attractive candidate than Bernie Sanders. Obviously, younger, fantastic looking, more of a mainstream liberal than a far left liberal. I think he could have his moment in Iowa. I think this Bernie mania thing could burn out, and you could have a flowering of O'Malley fever before we get to January.
You can also easily imagine a scenario, and there are other Democrats who may run, but you can imagine a scenario where Sanders weakens Clinton rhetorically and maybe even in the caucuses, and then O'Malley steps in, and Democrats panic if there's a Clinton controversy, whatever. Yeah. So I think O'Malley, because he is a more conventional candidate, could easily end up benefiting from Sanders' strength. In the short term, though, he better start catching on. He better move up in the polls now that he's in.
He's got to do two things. One is he's got to have an economic message that's as distinctive as Bernie's, and the other thing is he's got to start going after the Clintons in a more pointed way.